All right, guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay. So today we're going to be knocking out 5 things I actually like a lot about the new Google Pixel Fold. Now, obviously, I did 5 dislikes already, so if you haven't seen that video, I'll try to remember link it down below, but go ahead and search the channel. You'll find lots of content on the Pixel Fold up already. Now, I've had this phone for, I think, a little over a week now. Definitely past a full 7 days. And the 5 things I'm going to list here. I mean, again, I have so many more likes for this device, but I'm trying to keep it compact for you and not go too long on this because I only did 5 dislikes on the previous video. So let's balance the playing field and let's talk about some of the great parts about this phone. Now, I've heard other people's opinions of this first one, which is the screen, but in my opinion, I think this screen is absolutely great, and it speaks volumes to what Google's able to do by looking at the industry, looking at what others have done, and looking at what they could possibly do. So let's pop this open here. Let's first start with the inner display. Now you see this inner display, it is just absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to go ahead and pop in, and again, starting right here, just not even looking at a video, this is a beautiful display. I do have the brightness turned up for you so you can get a really good gist of just how beautiful this is. Now, this is a phone you need to see in person, and I really can appreciate what Google has done here with this foldable display. I have a ton of folding displays, and they all bring something different to the table when it comes to viewing angles, brightness, just movies, consumption, anything you could think of. This phone right here stands toe to toe with all of those other devices. So just looking at the display itself, you see that it is so beautiful and bright and vivid. Now, let's actually open up a video. I had one loaded for you ready to go to look at on this inner display. Now here's what the display looks like because of this aspect ratio when you're viewing it at this angle, when you're wanting to watch it in the full like this. But with these phone screens being the same size, like two 5.8-inch displays, basically you can actually watch it in what's pretty much called a flex mode, where you can have the bottom portion of it here showing, and you can sit the phone down like this and get a really good gist of how beautiful this display is. But if you want to watch it in full display like this, you very well can. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It still looks phenomenal. But you do have these black bars, but you can zoom. Remember, you can zoom, but this is what you get when you go too far. In order to fill this display, it's not like my my Z Fold 4. When you end up scrolling in and doing it like that, it doesn't feel the same, because I can actually record in 5:6 with this device. Now that would have been something that's really cool that Google would have done with that particular device, but they did not. So that's not really a thing. So now when it comes to watching movies and things like that, you see how I can flip it like onto the outside display here. And the outside display is in fact a little bit better to watch it in this aspect ratio. And I think it's impressive, to say the least, just how beautiful both displays are, in my humble opinion. Looking at them, everybody's eyes are a different age. And to me, this is very bright, very vivid. And it just speaks volumes to what Google did on their first try. Now, another thing, as far as me sitting it up, you can actually watch a movie like this. So I think this is pretty cool right here. You're sitting at your desk and quick flex incoming, but you don't want to use your Pixel tablet, and you want to use your phone. You want to use your Pixel Fold and not watch content on your tablet as it sits on your desk. You know what I'm saying? You can do that. You can actually sit the phone like this, and it stays stable. It's flat. It's not moving or anything. And if you're concerned about the camera bump touching the table or anything like that, put a lens protector on like I did, or just put a case on it if you want to. So in my humble opinion, these screens are absolutely great. Now, one thing I didn't point out in that, and I'm going to point it out now, is the speakers. Now there's a speaker on this part, on like it's like a staggered setup. So here's a speaker on this part of the device, and then the other part of the speaker is over here. So let's listen to the speakers. I'm going to crank the volume up. Now these speakers are so good. It's kind of a, you know they're coming from this device, but it kind of gives it not a 3D effect, but it's so beautiful. And this isn't music. This is just going to be me talking. So check this out. It's some things in here. Oh yeah, it looks like it's cables or something in here. This is the protection for the phone while it's traveling. Yeah, and here's the cable. It's a shame that you don't get any kind of, I'm going to transfer data, so I'll pull this out. It's a shame that you don't get a charging brick anymore. So the speakers, as I go into that segment, yeah, the screen is beautiful, but these speakers are absolutely great too. This is a reason that they did it like this. Like one speaker's on the front display, and then the other speakers on the, the other part of the display here. So I'm assuming when they did this, and they can tell you their reasoning, you're holding right here and then you're holding here. So you get a little cup, the sound will reflect or bounce off of your hand possibly if you're holding it like this. And this one's just free falling out into the elements, giving you a kind of a stereo sound. And it is absolutely phenomenal. So the screens are great to me, the beautiful displays. I mean, it's more of a personal preference. Some people might say, oh, they're not good enough. I like this. And you know what? I respect that. But as I sit and I hold this display and compare it next to other displays, yeah, it's not the brightest display. It's not the most punchiest, vivid display. But most people don't have multiple phones like I do. And the majority of the world doesn't have multiple phones like some of us tech enthusiasts do, or just people who collect phones. Shout out to all the people who commented on the other video about, them not being a creator, but they still love to collect all their tech and buy different phones. Shout out to you. You are a part of a special breed that lives amongst us in the US here and throughout the world. There are some of us that just love to get our hands on the latest tech. And so with those two things joining together, you get such a great experience. You get a great media consumption experience along with a more full sound. Now, over video, you probably won't. I have two microphones recording, but over video, you'll probably never really be able to get the gist of how something sounds. No matter what you're using, you get your best Sony earbuds on, put your best Sony headphones on, put your best Pixel, Apple, whatever you want to put on, you'll never get the experience the same instead of holding it in your hand like this and actually checking it out. That's just how it is. So those two things those are some of the main two likes I have here, because that's one of the most engaging thing, obviously, is the display. So before I get off of the display and the speakers, because those are two things that I really enjoy about this outer display is super functional. Now, I think Google did this too good. They made this front display too good because there's no challenges here at all. And remember in my initial unboxing and first impressions, I think I said I rarely open this phone up. I open it up a lot more now and take advantage of it, but initially I really didn't open this phone a lot. And I was like, man, I got to start opening this phone up. This is what I got it for. It's a beautiful display. And so it's so functional, being able to get in with one hand. You will possibly forget that it is a foldable until you realize how heavy it is. And that was over in the cons. This is pretty much a heavy, even though it's a thin device, it is very thin. Let me bring something in to show you real quick. I'm gonna get back on course just to show you what I mean by thin. Here's my iPhone right here, and here's the Pixel Fold. This is a folding device next to a non-folding device. So you see how the thickness is pretty much almost the same? Impressive, right? Let's clean them up. Impressive how Google got this thing to close flat and put two thin displays in there. So that is an impressive thing. And I'm excited for Google to see what they're going to do next, because I'm doing likes and dislike videos, but I do have an actual follow-up video coming. But anyway, I'm excited to see what Google is going to do next, because I think they're going to be able to do wonders with this particular device. Even if they don't make any more new hardware, they can just keep this software up to date. They really can. So the next thing is the cameras. Now the cameras on here, let me get in here, get something open up here so I can just show you some of the photos I've taken. I mean, I really genuinely like how this looks. And let's just go ahead and, again, let's open up here. this display here taking photos. I was on a hike and I just genuinely love how these cameras produce the footage. It's kind of personal preference on what you like and dislike when it comes to cameras, but photos on here are just top notch. Video is actually really great too. So when I put out the video of the camera review, I did that video, and some of you guys pay attention. Shout out to BJ, Barry Johnson, and a lot of you other guys who paid attention to that video. I was recording at the highest frame rate, and I didn't have steady shot on, and I was doing a range walk. That is definitely these are an impressive set of cameras, because they could handle that with very little jitter. Just like it's not jumping around much at all. That's pretty doggone good. And when it comes to photos, you know, these are just going to be top-notch photos. These cameras have proven themselves to be impressive, to say the least. They are going to, and I'm going to do a follow-up video again with just the cameras and showing you the stability on here, but we all know that they're going to be impressive. Now, I've heard some people say that these cameras are not better than the Pixel 7 Pros or the Pixel 7s. I disagree, and you're free to disagree with me too. I feel like these cameras are the same. I think they're the same. And that being said, the Pixel 7 and 7a cameras, you can't tell them apart. Here's a video I did when I'm walking from the front camera. That's super impressive. That is beyond impressive. Yes, it is very solid. This is a solid set of cameras, and mind you, this is that front camera. So the way you feel about something is subjective. But some things are objective, and I think the majority rules when we say that the Pixel has the best still shot cameras and now has heavily gained ground on video. While I think Samsung is still kind of the high-end cameras that I can pretty much do anything with, yeah, I think that's a huge plus for Samsung. I use the Samsung. Now, I'm not recording with any of my phones right now. I always let you guys know what I'm recording with, and this is in fact my Sigma with my Sony camera to get this footage for you. But you know, the cameras on here, I think they're the same as the 7 and 7 Pro, because the 7a is the same in quality for me too. You can look on paper and say it's different, but to me, the proof is in the pudding. If something is good, it's good. Period. It's good. And I think others' opinions are respected, but I lined them up as well. And again, neither one of us are right or wrong. People who say these are not as good as the 7 or 7 Pro, you're not wrong. That's your opinion. And so I respect it. I just humbly disagree. I think they're all the same. This is how good Google's cameras have gotten. That's what it is. That's how good they've gotten. Their cameras have gotten so good that they're fighting against each other now. And they're making their way into an arena where everybody said that this was always the best phone set of cameras. Now, let's give credit where credit is due. iPhone's video is still top notch. So cameras on here, I think you'll be hard pressed not to like them. I don't see anyone who will probably dislike these cameras right here. This is a camera protector from Whitestone Dome. Some of you guys have been asking about that. I'll try to remember to link all the stuff from Whitestone Dome down below. But I've done plenty of case videos. I don't like that it's black, but you know, hey, they do that sometimes when they send out their camera protectors. They only make one color, clear or black. So you know, nonetheless, if you have Porcelain, shout out Team Porcelain in the comments. You have a killer device. It's your man Jay. So we're gonna knock out these last couple here. So we talked about the screen and how beautiful the displays are. We talked about how great the speakers are. We talked about how great the cameras are. But what about what I'm holding, which is the hardware? This hardware, Google has had time to figure out what's gonna work for consumers. They are listening, folks. They are listening to what people are saying on the internet. We're talking about Google. They're a software company. So they have to listen. They have got to listen to what we're saying. If they don't, they lose. So the fact that, and I put up a video saying Google did it better than Samsung on their first try. It's just a fact. Yeah, it's nothing. And people definitely, they didn't like that. But the reality is Google is doing what you should do. You know, you want to check out the market and see what's going to work and what's going to sell. Google wants to remain profitable, folks. Don't think that Google is just going to throw devices out there and think they're not going to make any money. They definitely, I will say this, they were probably not ready for the demand for this device. I don't think they believed us when we said we are really Team Pixel and we want to see a folding device. We want a folding device. I don't think they believed us. But the hardware on here is absolutely phenomenal, folks. This is premium hardware at its best. I guess squaring it off right here, you have to. But, you know, I think they can have a little bit more rounded design in the future. All folding phones can look like this pretty much. And it doesn't really bother me at all. But I think over time, they'll shrink the hinge like Samsung did. They'll do these things that make the device better. They'll shave off some weight. They'll do these things. They'll change the they'll change the camera bumps. They'll do it all. They're gonna make these changes because they know that's what we want to see, and they know that we want to see the thinnest folding device. Again, totally missed opportunity from this beautiful company here. Missed opportunity from this device. This should have been a Windows folding device, and it should have been about the size of this Pixel. I said it before, and I stand true to that. Look at the massive difference here in these phones. Both of these phones could be the same size, and this, folks, would have taken off. It is still great. Don't get me wrong. This is a phenomenal device. This is just much smaller, doing the same thing and giving just a great experience, and even just as good experience. They got the thickness right and all that. I mean, these are close in thinness, but you know, they had an opportunity and they missed it. It's not a fail. I actually still love that device. I will not be getting rid of that device. That is a serious collector / everyday user when possible, but this is more realistic for the world. It's small. It's built exactly the same form factor. It's just more compact. So hardware on here is a huge win. The camera bump, it could be a little smaller. I definitely could agree there, but it's not massive and intrusive like most other phones have these ginormous bumps on them, and that's just how it's going to be. But for this body, they could make it a little smaller. They could make it a little flatter, basically. I would take a smoother, flatter, smaller camera bump on the newer model if they decide to continue making this device. But if they don't decide to continue making this device, I got a winner, and this is an exclusive. You're in the winner's circle, and you're in an exclusive club if you have this device, because this hardware, folks, for the people that have this, they're going to tell you this is phenomenal hardware. It just really is. Now, for the last thing I want to talk about, because remember, I'm going to keep this at 5. I don't want to keep going on about how great this is. There's a lot of things on paper that I don't mention with these because I'm using this and I'm just talking about the things that are just going to be right in your face. And these are things you're going to notice when you buy a device like this, and that is the performance. We have Google's stock Android running with the Tensor G2 chip. And a lot of people are in their feelings, because that's really all it is. They're in their feelings about Google not putting a different chip in here. Well, they don't need a different chip. Google has done the right thing, just like Apple did the right thing by stepping away and doing their own thing. Apple leaving Intel chips is wonders for them. It makes me want to buy more of their computers. I'm actually getting ready to get something else. I just got my Mac Studio, and I got something else brewing. I'll tell you about it later. But Google has done the right thing by not using a Snapdragon chip. A lot of people, it'll be better if it was Snapdragon. There is no grounds for that to be a fact. That is just a person's opinion. In fact, it is my opinion that they did the right thing by bringing and sticking with their own brand. They've got the Tensor chip. Well, it's just Samsung built. Who cares? It's Google's chip. It's Google's chip. Remember, Google is a software company, and they should be giving you the best experience with Android, and you are getting it right here. Now, the software on here will need to be improved. It's just what it is. Like all things, when something new drops, you are going to have a few things that need to be worked out. This is a phenomenal first try. And I talked about it in another video where people complaining about things not being optimized, and you have to, you can size them like this. This is nothing but labs, folks, and you're there. There it is. It's nothing but labs. You have the ability to use this a proper way. Oh, if I shouldn't have to do that. The people who are saying this don't own the device. And the fact remains is Google is still a software company, and everything can be improved with software. The inner display is completely usable. I like being able to actually just drop two things over here. I think it looks phenomenal, man. I am in no way upset that I can do this. This is great. This is phenomenal. This is a beautiful look. They're doing what Microsoft did, basically, having two devices. And I like how easy it is to get to this. And I remember when people were saying that's a Samsung feature. I kept saying that is not a Samsung feature. It is a Google feature. And with Google, theirs is a lot more intuitive than being done on Samsung's phone. My bar on Samsung like that frequently is difficult to get. But I would expect it better be better on Google's Pixel Fold. It better be, because if it's not, it will be embarrassing that they are bringing out a device with a feature and it's better on my Samsung phone. On my Samsung phone, it turns itself off sometimes. And this isn't something that I'm picking on Samsung about. I've said this before. I've had to go into the settings sometimes and, turn things back on. And when you go in here, let me just see here if it's default shutting itself off again. It's been so long since yeah, taskbar, see, it's on. You see? So and I do like that there's a ton of things down there. I can do it like that. But, it shouldn't be as difficult for me to have to do that. See? With Google, I can just go anywhere and get it done. But there you go, man. You see my likes and dislikes. I've used my notes here because I actually really do like this device. Contrary to what you might believe, I named this device probably king of device for creators and king of devices at one point. But I think if I'm holding steady right now, since the Pixel Fold did come out early enough, it is now in the running for phone of the year. But in reality, I think as of right now, this might be the phone of the year. For one, it's blue, okay? Team blue. If you're not following me on Threads, go ahead and follow me on Threads. Last question I put up today was, what is your favorite color? And obviously, I am team blue. Like I think Eric was saying, Jay got all blue stuff over there. He's got blue cars. He's got tons of blue phones, blue watches. Yeah, I'm not lying. My Apple Watch is blue and I've got blue everywhere. But nonetheless, I think if we stop right now, if no more phones come out, probably I would give this one phone of the year. I mean, it makes sense. It just makes sense. I will be getting the blue version of the Pixel Fold because I really want that device. I want to see if Samsung can pretty much continue on with the camera game, because their camera game is sick. I mean, they just have the best cameras in the game, for video and things like that. But these are great too. And I use this phone a lot for top-down shots when I am recording. But again, if you're skipping around, here's what I'm using to record this video. I've said it already, but the Sigma lens is up there with my Sony camera and a couple of microphones. So in the end, folks, you decide what you like about the Pixel Fold, and you tell me, are there a lot of dislikes and likes about the Pixel Fold that you're willing to mark them down? So go ahead and put yours down below and let me know some likes about yours, because I've already done the dislike video. If you want to talk about the dislike video, go ahead and hop over to that dislike video and put that information in the dislike video, the things that you dislike. But this is the like video. This is the uplift, positive run video. Let's talk about what we like about this video. So it's your man Jay. If you're not following me on Threads, once again, go ahead and follow me on Threads. There I am. Latest question here. Let's see what the question is. I'm Team Blue. You got some reds. We got the reds and the blues going against each other. Yeah, I'm having fun with it. So it's your man Jay. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'm excited for this phone, man. This has been my daily driver for the week that I've had it, I think, and I don't anticipate it going away from that anytime soon. Hope you enjoyed. Still getting some follows there, even as I record this video. Hope you enjoyed the video. I will follow up again. I actually have an actual video coming out talking about the device, not separated like likes, dislikes, because I like to put out a lot of separate content to answer your questions. And I think that's where a lot of people might not want to do that, but I like to take the time to do it because some people would prefer to sit through several videos and topics than to just look through one big video and try to find the topics. So it's your man Jay. Hope you guys enjoyed. Yes, I will see you in the next video. God bless.